Let's try somebody named Boars here on the StreamYard. Boars, you're on stage.
Yes, there we go. I had been waiting because I watched your last stream when you were talking to IP, and I was waiting and waiting while I've been at work, and I'm like, oh, I'll try again on the next one. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're a Muslim?
I reverted in 2024, but I had always been intrigued about Islam since I was 17. I'm 29 years old now. I'm Hispanic.
Okay, so you're convert, no worries. All right,
Yeah.
so what do you think, man? What's the Injil? Maybe you could tell us.
I mean, based off of the very little knowledge that I've gotten as a revert, sadly, what I got told is that it was a revelation to Esau. But what is in that revelation, I have no idea, sadly.
Okay. Okay, then. That's an honest answer. So Jesus is given a revelation that is called the gospel. He went around preaching the gospel. You don't necessarily know the contents that's in that yet. And by the way, just to make you feel a little bit better, or I hope you don't feel bad, none of the Muslims know. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I've kind of grasped that, just to kind of summarize it. And since I'm on the spotlight, I'm going to take advantage respectfully. This revert journey has definitely been a difficult one. I've noticed, being Hispanic and not having any sort of background from the Middle East, they kind of naturally have a shun towards people who are reverts and not of that background. So learning has been very difficult. I mean, I've been having to learn a lot on my own. Thankfully, I do know how to pray to the basic standard as it gets, but trying to learn like hadith and, questions that you're asking about the Injil, I wish within the community I can learn of this stuff, because sometimes on my own time, just being open and public about it, I'm thinking like, man, I'm really passionate about this religion, just the discipline that comes with it. But, since I haven't received any help, I'm just like, man, kind of makes me doubt a little bit at times, if that makes sense.
What convinced you that Islam was true, bro?
So I grew up in a non-denominational Christian household. My granddad, taught me about the Bible, taught me about Jesus, taught me the main basic prayer, the Our Father, and, to never trust in mankind, always, as you age, to trust in Jesus and God and the Holy Spirit. And as time went on, during my high school years, just because of where I went to school, I had to get the sacraments done for Catholicism. So, just for like school purposes, I had to get all that done, learned about the Catholic faith, just
I don't mean to
that.
cut you off, brother. I don't mean to cut you off, but specifically Islam. Like, what convinced you that Islam specifically was accurate and was true?
What kind of got me questioning was the whole three entities, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And, it just kind of baffled me as I got older. I'm just thinking like, well, why can't we just pray to the
You're,
one God?
you're telling me why you doubted Christianity, which
Right.
is fine. I want to hear that later. I want to
Okay.
know what convinced you of Islam.
I guess just the discipline that comes with the religion, having to wake up early in the morning to pray when you're at work, as long as your employer allows it. They give you time to pray, and I think that's important to always be mindful of the Creator. And I mean, I guess that's the best answer I can give you. I guess it's just the discipline that drew me to it. And, some of the Muslim people that I've met throughout my journey have been polite and, kind of accepting in a sense. And, I don't really get that. I didn't really get that much, from Christians myself. It was always kind of like hypocrisy and, believe in Jesus, but I'm going to go probably get drunk after work, or like believe in Jesus and I'm going to probably go do drugs after work, just kind of throwing scenarios out there that I've come across. And with
So
Muslims, I haven't
you
come
haven't
across
come
it.
across Muslims going out getting drunk or having sex outside of marriage?
So personally, being 100% truthful, even on a polygraph test, if you were to ask me this, I have not.
Okay, I have. I have. I grew up with a lot of people like that.
That's
So.
saddening to hear. Yeah.
But I would you say that would make a religion true or false if people aren't following the religion correctly?
Like going out of wedlock and, doing drugs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, it would definitely, question the discipline and just kind of what's being preached out there for sure.
But would it make the religion false if people aren't adhering to it correctly? Would that make
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. What I, I don't know if it's like a hadith quote or anything like that, but I guess what I've always gotten told by the sheikhs, the Muslims aren't perfect, but the religion is.
right? It's not a hadith, by the way, but that's just a popular saying. So
Right.
so Islam supposedly is perfect, while the Muslims aren't. So
Right.
even though Muslims can act hypocritically towards the religion, like they can go out and disobey what the religion says and what it teaches, that doesn't mean that Islam itself is false or has false
Right.
teachings, right?
Right. And the other thing that I've questioned, just with Islam, too, and because I think you did talk about this in the last stream, the whole concept and what's been put out there with Muhammad marrying Aisha because she was 9 years old.
She
And
was 6 when he married her and was
yeah,
9 years old when he slept with
yeah.
her.
Yeah. And I've seen on Muslim scholar, YouTube videos, that when people bring that up, I guess it's just propaganda to hate the religion, and that there's actual documentation out there through Aisha's sister that she was 10 years older or something like that, and then I guess that she had.
There's nothing in the hadith that suggests and says anything that Aisha was anything other than 9 years old when Muhammad slept with her. Nothing. So
And there is actual documentation that she was 6 years old. There is actual proof of that.
Oh, I'm gonna show you. That's what I'm here for. I just wanted to land the last point we were on. That so similarly, just like how your Sheikh say that Islam is perfect but Muslims aren't.
Right.
The same thing that Christians would say that Jesus is perfect but Christians aren't. We're not perfect. We're imperfect, and Christ is working in us to better us. And we make mistakes. We fall. Some of us are hypocrites and stuff like that. Christ is consistently good in our moral example, and he never.
See, and I've been shunned a lot. I don't know if that's the right word or if that's excessive, but I've tried asking these questions a lot in regards to like Jesus specifically, like why does the Muslim faith say that his crucifixion was false and that it was actually through the gospel of Barnabas that supposedly Judas Iscariot was the one who was placed on the cross, and then fast forwarding, if you go to the chapter of Miriam, that everything was true, that he was born of a virgin, it was a miraculous birth, he is the divinity, but that the Jews and the Christians created this narrative that, he was put on the cross, and in reality that was false. But every time I've kind of just tried to add in both questions from the Christian side and why the Muslims think the way they do, I don't really get much clarification.
That's what I'm here for, brother. Yeah, you came to the right place. I wouldn't judge Islam off of bad Muslim behavior, and I wouldn't judge Christianity off of bad Christian behavior. And now to go to this, what I would judge Islam on is on what the Quran itself says and what the hadith say. What did Muhammad teach and what did he practice? That's what I judge Islam on. I don't care if there's a Muslim out here who's getting drunk and doing, taking intoxicants and stuff like that. I don't care. If that's not what Islam teaches, then I don't care about that. I care about what does the Quran and hadith teach. That's how I judge Islam. So here's one of the big reasons why I emphatically reject Islam. And I'm going to show you that they lied to you when it comes to Aisha. I'm going to show you every single hadith on the topic, every single authentic source within Sunni Islam says that she was 9 years old when he slept with her. Now, the age when he married her, that one switches between 6 or 7. It's always either 6 or 7. Most of them say 6. There's a couple that say 7. So she was either 6 or 7 when he married her, but it's always consistent that she was 9 years old. So let me show you.
Okay.
So over here on the right, you can see the screen, right?
Yep.
All right, so this is Sahih Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari. Sahih al-Bukhari is second when it comes to like authority and authenticity to the Quran. Like the Quran is number one, obviously, because it's the word of Allah. Sahih al-Bukhari is number 2 when it comes to hadith, okay? And what Muhammad did and taught. So narrated Aisha. This is Aisha herself. This ain't nobody said no. Aisha herself narrated Aisha that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. And then she remained with him for 9 years, i.e. till his death. So she stayed with him until she was 18 and she died when she was 18.
Oh, wow.
6 years old, married, 9 years old when he consummated, when he slept with her. Let's keep going. That's just one. Sahih al-Bukhari, another one. 5158. Narrated Urwa. The Prophet wrote the marriage contract with Aisha while she was 6 years old and consummated his marriage with her while she was 9 years old. And she remained with him for 9 years. Same thing. Let's keep going. Another one. Sahih al-Bukhari, 5134. Same thing. Narrated Aisha. The Prophet married her at 6, slept with her at 9. All right? And she stayed with him for 9 years. Let's say again. Sunan Abu Dawud, 2121. This is another hadith collection. Okay? One of the top 6 books. Sahih Bukhari is number 1. I don't know what number this one would be, but it's up there in the top 6. So narrated Aisha. Now she's about to start talking in the first person. Watch this. The Messenger of Allah married me when I was 7 years old. The narrator Suleiman said, or 6 years. He had intercourse with me when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
9 years old. This is Aisha herself, right? No confusion. No he say, she say. Aisha said it. Aisha said it. My chat needs to grow up.
So is there a lot of reasons, or I guess the main reason why a lot of Muslims try to fight that debacle with the age thing? Is it just because they just don't want to publicly admit, like, oh, hey, he actually did that? There's just no other way around it.
You hit it on the nail. Imagine this. Imagine the Prophet who you believe is the best moral example for all mankind. No matter what generation you're in, you can follow this guy. He's the good example for us all. But at the same time, this man slept with a kid, married a kid. Today, he would be thrown in jail, probably put in the electric chair.
Right.
So imagine the embarrassment of the Muslims to have to try to defend a guy like this. You get what I'm saying? And it's really only in Islam that I see publicly that, I'm going to say this word one time, but that pedophilia is defended. Islam is the only religion that defends it, man, that I've seen publicly do it. Maybe there's other religions that like have it on the little side, but man, you'll see Muslim apologists and defenders come up and defend this, make excuses for it, come up with all different type of reasoning to make this okay.
Wow.
Some will just flat out deny it, right? You'll get those who just flat out lie and say, no, it didn't happen. There was different agency, his sister. No, they're lying. They'll come out and lie about it. Others will come out and make excuses. Oh, well, that was cool in that time. That's what they were doing in that time. No, it wasn't. Because even Jesus and Paul back then taught not to harm the children and to deal with children appropriately. That Paul taught this in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. So that's 600 years before Muhammad. So they can't use that excuse. You know what I'm saying? So this is the character of Muhammad. This is who he is and what he did. There's no hiding from it, right?
Wow.
So you see all of this, and by the way, Sahih, you said you knew, but Sahih, all of this means authentic. Sahih Bukhari, authentic. Sahih,
yeah, I'm definitely going to have to bring this up the next time I go to the mosque and talk to my Sheikh about it, because I just want to, get clarification. I mean, obviously I'm seeing it verbatim right here. I want to bring that up the next time I go to the mosque and be like, hey, what's all this about? What's going on here,
Yeah. Exactly. Let me show you another one, and I'll tell you what your sheikhs will say. They'll either tell you to not ask questions about that, or I'll tell you the excuses they'll give. Let's see here. Where's the one I'm looking for? There's one that says that she was still playing with dolls.
What?
Yeah. Watch. Hold on. Let me show you that one, bro. It's disgusting.
I'm glad I had been waiting almost a whole hour to get in here because, man, maybe it's for a reason. Who knows?
It's worth it, right? Now watch this. It says, so this is Sahih Muslim 1422.
Okay.
Aisha reported that Allah's apostle married her when she was 7 years old, and she was taken to his house as a bride when she was 9, and her dolls were with her. And when he died, she was 18 years old. So at 9 years old, she was still playing with dolls when he slept with her. Still playing with dolls, man.
What the fuck? Use my language, but what in God's name is going on right now?
What's happening is that there's a false prophet claiming to be a true prophet, using God as his excuse to do these perverted things. That's what's happening. This is a truly sick religion. This is a sick man. Just to be honest, this is a true criticism of what we're. Notice how I'm not giving you my own interpretation or I'm a Christian, so this is why I'm. No, I'm showing you the Islamic sources, the most authentic Islamic sources, verbatim, explicit, is saying this stuff. This ain't me, okay? So her dolls were still with her. She was still playing with dolls when he mounted her. Let's keep going. I'm gonna show you another one that actually gives a little bit of details when it comes to the doll situation.
As you're searching that too, at my job that I work at, there was a group of Muslims. They were doing a little congregation thing, and I coordinated with one of them. He was from Pakistan, and I had asked him, because I try to watch different videos to just kind of learn different things, and I had asked him about a hadith that was put out there that supposedly Muhammad, since you said the word mount, because I guess from Arabic to English, there's a hadith out there that Muhammad was in the desert somewhere and he had some companions with him. They went to sleep in the tent, and that there was these men from the east that mounted him all night.
Yeah.
And when I asked about that, I'm like, hey man, I'm kind of concerned about this. Why was he mounting with men? And he said, no. You know how this word, how gay was meaning to be happy back in the day, and now it's a whole different meaning now. He was trying to explain the same thing for mount. He was trying to say that mount back then is different. Yeah. I was like, okay, right. Wow.
Stop it. What? That was his explanation? Oh,
that was his response. He's like, well, mount meant something different back in the day compared to what mount means now. And I'm like, well, what's the context of the hadith if he's saying that he mounted these men, Yeah.
So let me show you this about the dolls, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm showing you this specifically so you know it's important when you talk to your imams and sheikhs, okay?
Okay.
They're going to lie to you. I'm telling you right now, I'm not a prophet, but I have good foresight. They're going to lie to you, dude, or they're going to hang up on you and tell you not to call again.
Right.
So, Sahih Bukhari, narrate Aisha. This is Sahih Bukhari, 6130. Sahih Bukhari, 6130. Okay, watch what it says. This is narrate Aisha. So this is Aisha speaking. I used to play with the dolls in the presence of the prophet, and my girlfriends also used to play with. When Allah's messenger used to enter, they used to hide themselves, but the prophet would call them to join and play with me. Now, we're about to get the commentary about this hadith, because according to Islam, playing with dolls is forbidden unless you're immature. Okay, so watch what this. So this is the commentary by Fath al-Bari. Fath al-Bari gives the reference right here.
Okay.
They can't say it's not there. They even give the reference. So it says here, watch. It says the playing with the dolls and similar images is forbidden, but it was allowed for Aisha at that time, as she was a little girl, not yet reached the age of puberty.
Wow.
So what does this mean? Aisha, when she married Muhammad and Muhammad slept with her, according to Fath al-Bari, she was still immature and prepubescent, and that's why she was allowed to play with dolls even when Muhammad slept with her, because she was still immature. So Muhammad slept with Aisha while she was immature.
Wow.
So what they're going to try to tell you is, they're going to try to tell you, oh yeah, no problem. Well, Aisha at that time, she was mature. She was mature. She was she hit puberty at this time. She was a young woman. See, back then, they used to mature faster than they do today. They used to get their periods faster due to the heat and, due to the climate and due to the environment
and stuff. Yeah.
That's what they'll tell you, which is all lies. The absolute lies. We actually mature faster today than we did back then. That's scientifically proven. All of that is lies. According to their sources, Aisha was still a little girl when Muhammad slept with her.
That's very terrifying. Yeah.
That's Muhammad, man. And so when you don't when you don't read up on a religion and then you join it, you don't know that this is the guy that you're following. This is the guy you're saying is a true prophet of God that we're supposed to lean on and follow.
See, and I had even asked, to like bring up another topic. I had asked about the Gospels as well, because I had told them that I come from a Christian background, and I had asked, their input on what are the Gospels to them, and they said, oh well, they were just documentation that we really have no exact proof of when they were written and who the actual authors were, because they were saying that they're considered the Gnostic Gospels, and that pretty much Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were all written between 50 to 100 years after supposedly Jesus' death on the cross, which on top of that they say that was not evidential either. Just because in the book of Miriam it just says that, God took him up as if he was like Enoch or something like that, just kind of comparing the two instead of just dying, a painful death.
Let me show you this one thing and then I'll address what you just said, okay? I want to show you that Muhammad used Allah as an excuse to get with little Aisha.
Okay.
This is Sahih Bukhari 7012 7012. Sahih Bukhari.
Okay.
012, and this was so it says, narrate Aisha, Allah's messenger said to me, you were shown to me twice in my dream before I married you. I saw an angel carrying you in a silken piece of cloth, and I said to him, uncover her, and behold, it was you. I said, if this is from Allah, then it must happen. Then you were shown to me the angel carrying you in a silken piece of cloth, and I said, uncover, and behold, it was you. I said, if this was from Allah, then it must happen. So Muhammad to have dreamed about Aisha before marrying her. So she's a little, man, who knows when this dream took place, but he married her at 6. So he's dreaming about a little 6-year-old at best. This could have been a couple years before. She could have been 5 or 4. But let's grant that she was 6 years old when he's dreaming about Aisha.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Sound like a true prophet to you, man?
Well, based off of this stuff that you're showing me, if it's not propaganda, which I don't think it is propaganda just to shun the religion, I mean, that's some pretty horrific stuff.
Yeah, this is the thing. It can't be propaganda if I'm quoting Islamic sources.
Right.
This isn't a Christian website. This is a Islamic website that offers a database of hadith, the teachings and sayings of Muhammad. It's a Muslim website, Muslim sources.
Yeah, and it's crazy that I always get that same response from the Muslims when it comes to my questions. It's propaganda, because I had even asked that same guy that I ran into at my job. I'm like, hey, how come a lot of Iranians are supposedly within the last couple of years converting to Christianity? They said like a total of 100,000, 300,000. I'm like, what's the reason behind that? Oh, it's just propaganda. It's just propaganda because of all the wars that the U.S. has had with Iran. And I'm like, is that the only answer you can provide? And he just pretty much just said it was just propaganda. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say, man. Because I know they just came out in the news as well that Uzbekistan, with the huge Muslim population that they have there, apparently they're seeing Jesus in their dreams too, just like the Iranians did. And some of the people even in Afghanistan. I'm just like, kind of interesting.
Yeah, I just want to say this to this man, because when you read the Bible, you'll have prophets that have sinned, that have committed atrocities. Actually, like David, for example, he basically committed murder and adultery within the same act almost, you know.
Right.
Moses, he disobeyed God. Noah got drunk before. Abraham lied multiple times. He was a liar. You know, you have these different prophets that sinned against God. But here's the difference what you see in the Bible. Never do you see the prophet saying, God showed me.
Right.
God allowed me to do this. You'll see every time God corrects them, and God punished David. God punished Moses. God punished or corrected Abraham and checked him, right? You know, with all these prophets, you'll never see God ordaining these actions. That's the difference with Muhammad. He's using Allah to ordain his actions, saying that Allah showed him this in a dream. Like that, he's God told me to do it. That sounds exactly like, you know, some modern day child lovers who are in jail today.
That's bizarre for sure, man. And like another thing that always just kind of crossed my mind too, and I know I've been kind of tangent on different topics, is just because I'm at work right now, but I'm trying to take advantage of this time with you. I know, like on the Christian side, you have, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Ishmael and Isaac, correct? Ishmael and Isaac, or is it Jacob? Ishmael, the two brothers, Ishmael and
yeah, Ishmael and Isaac. Yep.
Ishmael and Isaac. Like, I guess just kind of a random question. Like, you see, because I'm a veteran, so I've always just kind of researched the Afghan war and things like that. Do you think the Middle Eastern countries, like including Afghanistan, for example, how they've always been called the graveyard of empires? You know, the U.S. tried to take over, they lost. The British tried to take over, they lost. Same thing with the Soviet Union. Do you think that there's any backbone to that with the whole Ishmael and Isaac thing, that how God said in the Bible that he even told Abraham that Ishmael will be a great nation and, you know, descendants of him will be great? Is there some sort of like covenant of some sort with that as to why, like, for example, Afghanistan, if they are considered part of that lineage, to be kind of, how am I trying to word it? Did God sort of favor them somehow to like win those wars? Does that make sense of what I'm trying to ask? I feel like it's kind of too much.
I'm not familiar with these battles and wars, so I don't exactly know what you're talking about. But theologically, with Ishmael, Ishmael was made a great nation through his numbers, not through a covenant that God made with him. So God said that He would make him a great nation and make him fruitful and multiply him, and give him 12 princes that would rule their tribe. And you get the fulfillment of this in Genesis. I think it's 25. Genesis 25, that shows us who those 12 princes are according to their tribe. So it doesn't have anything to do with a religious basis or a religious foundation with God, like as if they're right standing with God and God protects them. No.
Okay, that kind of answers my next question. Then I wonder if like the Muslims were ever considered like the sons of Ishmael, like the people call them. Okay, gotcha.
No. But look, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You said you were here last time. If you come back again, I'll remember you. You're bored. I'll remember you. And you
I was about to ask if I could jump in. Yeah, whenever I go back to the mosque this week and, you know, get some more information, we'll definitely talk. And, you know, I'm thankful you let me in, bro. I'm thankful you let me in. It's been awesome, you know, starting to follow your page, and, you know, Sam Shamoon as well. Shout out to him. You know, I definitely like seeing what he puts out there. And hopefully the newest thing that I've seen today, and I'll let you go on this one, it seems like Sheikh Uthman doesn't want to face you, man. I seen that on PBD's podcast or recent video he put out there, that there was some sort of misnarration there. So hopefully you guys can make it happen, man, because I know like him and Muhammad Hijab are just kind of always kind of targeting you guys here and there, but it'd be nice to have a sit-down conversation and see what you guys can bring to the table.